Greetings, fellow South Africans. I am Ayanda Dlodlo, the Minister of Communications. Welcome to yet another edition of Government at Work, where we gain insight into government programs and events and hear what government has to say about pressing issues in our society. Let's take a look at some of the week's events. Last week, South Africa proudly hosted the 37th Ordinary SADC Summit of Heads of State and Government, which forged a united front in our efforts as a region to address challenges such as unemployment, food security, poverty, and underdevelopment. I am pleased to share that a number of initiatives that directly benefit South Africans and people across the region were taken forward. It includes the implementation of the SADC industrialization strategy to accelerate economic growth and development in the region. In celebrating the region's support for women, while we are celebrating Women's Month here at home, the summit commended members who have reached the 50-50 gender parity in political and decision-making positions in the public and private sector. As a country, we have achieved a lot in the field of women empowerment. Prior to 1994, Parliament had a mere 2.7% representation of women, and following the first democratic election, women representation in the National Assembly stood at 27.7%. In 1999, that figure increased to 30%, and then 32.7% in 2004. After the 2009 national elections, women representation reached 42%. Women ministers now comprise 43% of cabinet. Women's Month draws to an end. Government encourages all South Africans to empower and protect women in the country so that they can take their rightful place in society. While our country has made strong inroads to alleviate poverty, the latest figures on poverty released in the Stats SA report, Poverty Trends in South Africa, show that poverty levels remain stubbornly high. The report shows that the proportion of population living in poverty declined from 31.6 million persons in 2006 to 27.3 million in 2011, but increased to 30.4% in 2015. In the spirit of OR Tambo, we all need to work together to ensure the most vulnerable in our midst are supported. Government will use the report to guide policy and reinforce our programs for sustained economic growth and job creation, which are key drivers for poverty reduction. As Africans, we need to stand proud to share in the success of the launch of the Ghana Radio Astronomy Observatory, which is part of the Square Kilometre Array project. The observatory in Ghana is the first one outside South Africa and places our continent firmly at the forefront of radio astronomy. The Square Kilometre Array has become the face of science and engineering on the continent. President Jacob Zuma on Friday, 25th August, co-chaired the second session of the South African-Mozambique Binational Commission with his counterpart, President Philip Nyusi. In 2016, South African exports to Mozambique amounted to 33 billion, whereas imports from Mozambique amounted to 10 billion. There are approximately 300 South African companies operating in Mozambique in areas inclusive of the financial services sector, energy and hospitality, and retail sectors. South Africa and Mozambique's economic relations continue to grow, and cooperation encompasses trade and investment, science and technology, agriculture, environmental affairs, energy, infrastructure development, and retail, amongst others. The two countries enjoy excellent bilateral relations which date back to the liberation struggle, and during the visit, South Africa and Mozambique are scheduled to sign a memorandum of understanding on the field of transport. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Government at Work message. Together, we continue to move South Africa forward.